welcome back to my channel, A Court of Books and Abby, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas, my favorite author. If you hear like snide comments or snarling or like any other
savage sounds
or laughing, that is my sister Ava. Two quick stories for you guys. I already filmed this video, which is why it's coming out so late, because the book came out in May. I finished it 2 days after it came out. 2, not 1. 2 days after it came out. And I filmed the video as soon as I finished it. And I edited it for 6 hours, and then I lost my phone, and so I don't have the video anymore, and so we're redoing it in July. Yay! Second thing is my bookshelf is different. Like, everything's different. It's sort of like crappier versions of what it was. That's because I'm now sharing a room with my sister Ava, and we switched rooms and furniture and everything. Sorry if I seem a little bit off. It is currently like 1 in the morning when I decided to randomly do this, so yeah. Ava has a list of things that I am to talk about.
This is a paragraph.
And then she also is writing down things that she thinks happens in this book, the series, Throne of Glass related, anything, because she's never read any of them. Let's just start with the first thing, which is nesting, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So Nesta and Cassian. This book really makes me mad because it is nice and it was a great sort of like, you know, buffer in between the two series, and that's fabulous. But nothing really happens with Nesta and Cassian, which makes me really mad. And there's 2 parts to that. And those 2 parts are Cassian and Nesta. They're like the problem of the relationship. So let's talk about Nesta first.
I'm sorry.
So let's talk about Nesta first. In this book, it's around solstice, Feyre's birthday, Christmassy, sort of. It's not Christmas, but it's Christmas. Yeah. And Nesta's a thought now.
When was she not?
Sorry.
She wasn't in the other books, but now she is. In this book, she is figuring out how to handle, like, after the war or something. We don't really know much about, like, her inner thoughts besides that all she wants to do is people and get drunk. That's all we really know from her. She thinks about how awful Cassian is as well. So, pretty common thoughts. Anyways, she becomes, like, this terrible drunk. She's rude all the time. No one likes her but Elaine. That's reasonable. She's drinking all the time. She has a apartment. Stop mocking me.
No, I'm just pointing.
She gets drunk. At the end of the book, it's from her perspective, like a little like snippet of like the next book or something, like a preview. And she talks about how she lost her virginity or her maidenhead, and that was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. And it was just like the best. So, yeah. Nesta's a slut, and she drinks a lot, and she's really mad at everyone. She doesn't want to hang out with people. She's mad at Cassian, especially, for no reason. And that really affects the relationship because she doesn't like to hang out with anybody. And the second part of the, like, not working out because of this relationship thingy is Cassian. Cassian is always at the Illyrian war camps. He doesn't really, like, he's not really around much. He loves Nesta, and you can tell from his, like, POV, like, you can tell that he's in love with Nesta, and he wants to talk to her, but he can't because he doesn't know how to say anything because he's Cassian. So, their relationship never really took it to the next level. They never even, like, had a relationship in this book or any of the others, and that sort of made me mad, and so that's sort of what's happening with Nestian, even though I shipped them so much. So, yeah.
Next one is Preggers.
Preggers! Yes, okay. So this is one thing I was happy and mad about in this book. I'm not mad. I can't be mad at Sarah, but, like, it sort of made me a little bit...
Like,
I was not okay with it. But, so in this book, like, Feyre decides she's ready to have kids, and she tells Rhys, and that's, like, his solstice present or something, and they're like, yay! And so they decide that they're going to have a baby, but they never actually tell you if she's pregnant or not, even though it flash forwards to, like, 4 months in the future in the last chapter, and it's like, oh yeah, we're not going to tell you Farrah's pregnant, though. Another thing that has to do with pregnancy is periods, and in this book we find out about, like, Fae periods.
They have it only, like, every 6 months, so that twice a year and they're the worst. Like, they last, like, 2 weeks and they're, like, the most painful thing ever.
So, that was interesting to learn about, and I thought it was great. And now I like calling people overbearing mother hens. So, yeah.
As plus
Azriel and Elaine.
You don't know
Okay.
their ship name?
So, I don't know their ship name, actually.
I'll look it up.
Okay, thanks. Azriel and Elaine, they never become official in this, but it does make me so mad that Lucian thinks he, like, owns Elaine because of the mating bond, which I do not. Like, I do not think that's a... Ooh, the Cauldron messed it up because Azriel is so perfect for Elaine, and Elaine's, like, the thing that Azriel needs to move on from Morgan, so... That's... Yeah. But they never I can't talk again, the 1 a.m. thing. They never establish a real relationship, so yeah. But I think they would be great together, and I think they're actually, like, the cutest couple ever.
The R-I-T-E.
The Right. So in this book we find out, like, a little bit more about the Right. Not much, besides it's on a mountain, which we already knew. Yeah. But Cassian does talk about the Right a lot when you're reading from his POV, and I think that it may be a big top. Oh my gosh, this chair is, like, so creaky.
Stop moving.
Okay. So I do think the Right will be a really big thing in the next book, possibly, if I am correct about who the next book is going to be about. Just from hints that, like, the book was dropping and Sarah was dropping in the last chapter and stuff like that, I really think it's going to be about Cassian and Nesta and maybe the Right. So, yeah, I think that the Right is really important. It's going to, like, play a really big role in the next book. So that's why I have it down.
His mom.
Oh my gosh. Cassian's mom. We find out, like, more sad and gruesome details about Cassian's mom in this book. We find out that, like, she was worked to death, which we already know, but that she also never had a grave, and if she did, they never told Cassian where it was out of spite because they didn't like Cassian, which is really sad. And we also find out that Cassian has never told anybody about the village where his mother was besides Rhys and Azriel, and he mentions Nesta as well. He says, I would love to take Nesta here, but I also can't imagine myself ever bringing anyone here with me. And I think that I cried. It was sad, and I was not prepared. Everyone in the inner circle has a really, like, bad background that's, like, really sad, and so I was a little bit not okay. It was really sad.
The Weaver.
The Weaver. This is another thing that has to do with Farrah deciding that she's ready to have kids. And that is, she meets the Weaver. Not the Weaver of the Woods, who is a demon and is dead, but the Weaver who works at the Rainbow of Valeris and created the Void along with Hope. And those are two different types of thread. And the Weaver explains that that her husband died in the war, and that when he died, they were only mated for about 500 years, and she thought they were going to have 1,000 more, and that her greatest regret was that they never had children together, and she didn't have that piece of him after he passed away. And I thought that was really meaningful, and then Farrah's like, that could have been me and Rhys, and it, like, swings her emotion to say that she's ready to have kids, which makes me really happy. Now it's Ava's. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just what Ava thinks about it. Oh my gosh, you spelled Farrah wrong. You spelled everything wrong.
I don't
That's
care.
okay.
Just keep on going.
Okay, so this is what it is. This is what Ava thinks about this book. And Nesta's a Cassian is a cinnamon bun that needs to be protected. Nesta not Cassian. She gets prego, but not really. Farrah gets the D from Rhys. That already happened multiple
Yeah,
times.
exactly.
Okay, and then she has Farrah / Nesta, because she's a thought.
That's it.
That's all I think.
Yep.
So, my overall opinion about it is that I would literally marry this book. No, I wouldn't. That was dramatic. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. No, because there's other books like Throne of Glass and stuff that comes before it. But this book was great. It was a happy thing that we needed, but it also had emotional changing points. And I would really overall like suggest that you read it if you were doubting reading it before and you thought that it was just like a novella and you didn't really need to know what happens in it. I think it was really wonderfully written because Sarah is a beautiful writer and I love everything she writes, and I'm really hoping to meet her later in October. But I thought this was really great, especially for Sarah. I just thought it was beautifully written. It was just the best. I really liked it. So my camera died. I'm sorry. So
You liar.
yes, it did.
Whatever.
More commentary from Ava. Anyways, have a good day, you guys. Like and subscribe. And since I'm sorry, enjoy this Avatar meme.